For the time being, we pivot back to Craig Moeller, who is here with a little bit more on our forecast for the week. We talked about how today we expected some of those low temperatures, maybe the lowest of the week so far. Craig, what's up this morning?
It's going to be chilly tomorrow morning. I was just taking a look here just to kind of piggyback on what you're saying about Ontario, California. Winds are light right now. That is a blessing. I was a little concerned because we talked about earlier on the weather desk, we were talking about the Santa Anas contributing to the Springs fire. That one also under control. But Southern California, very dry right now in some locations, and they are starting to have some fire issues. So fortunately, again, the Santa Ana is not a problem right now. Winds are actually fairly light. Now, here in Hampton Roads, it is going to be chilly tonight. That's what you wanted to hear about. So we're going to get into that and take a look at the forecast. What I want you to know right now, skies are partly sunny. We've got this veil of cloud cover, and I don't know, I didn't talk to Sarah. We've got some Artemis II stuff coming up, right? Because I was just taking a look. I see her nodding. I'm seeing some of the pictures starting to come in on News 1, and some of the images of the Earthrise and like the solar eclipse. Awesome. All right, so we'll get into that in a moment. But I bring this up because this morning, as I was driving in at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm looking up, and even though we had cloud cover out there, it was a thin veil, so I could see the moon out there. It's one of those things. Last night when they were right there making their closest pass, I wanted to go up and look at it. It's kind of like when the Apollo missions, they were landing, everybody wanted to go up and look at the moon and think, we're there, you know?
Solidarity with
so
the
I got
astronauts.
out there, clouds. I was like, really? Are you serious? We do have the thin cloud cover, kind of a veil today. Now, temperatures are currently starting to warm up a little bit, mid to upper 50s. Winds are variable, 12 miles per hour. We're seeing the wind shifting to the north. That's going to keep our temperatures this afternoon in the we'll say 60-degree range around the ocean front and near the bay. Inland areas will be more like mid-60s, so it is going to warm up a little bit. You see the temperatures there, breaking it all down hour by hour. So this is what we are looking at, a mix of clouds and sunshine. Some of the thin cloud cover will continue to disperse. Other areas will see a little more cloud cover down to the south. Now, as we take a look here, we'll get into the future cast, and you see that front pushing through the area as we speak. Behind it, the wind's shifting to the north, and the cooler air is set to come rolling in. So here you go. Temperatures this afternoon, near 59 or 60 at the coast, low to mid-60s inland. A cooler day. Our normal high is, anyone?
Our normal high on this day in April,
today.
Our normal high is 65.
67. That's 65 is a good guess. All right. So a little bit below average today. Just thought I'd test Connor right in the middle of this broadcast.
Darn it.
I thought Sarah would step up, and she's clearly like, I'm going to let Connor take care of this. Right now, the pollen is taking care of my throat, which is why I keep drinking coffee.
Take your time. As many sips as you need. We're here for you, Craig. And while you recover, I do want to say how quickly we forget. If these numbers are our chilly day, I think that's something we should cherish.
Well, people are excited about the warm weather, but you got to keep in mind we don't want it to be too warm too early because we have this whole, climate change thing going on. So, yes, we are looking forward to some warmer beach days. That will be here soon enough. Now, tomorrow morning, the last thing you're going to be thinking about is a beach day with temperatures inland starting off in the upper 30s, low 40s near the coast. Wind chills tomorrow morning are going to be in the 30s. So you'll need to bundle up early on your Wednesday. We're going to see mostly sunny skies, afternoon highs, low to mid-50s. That's the coldest day of the week. After that, we start to warm it up. So we'll get into the low 60s again on Thursday, upper 50s to low 60s, and then it gets warmer on Friday, near 70, into the mid-70s for the weekend. And really, it looks pretty good, although we need some more rain. Okay, we're at a point now we're about 2 1/3 inches or so below average for the year, and there's really no good rain chances anytime soon. As we take a look, tonight's low down around 42. That's at the coast. Inland areas will be chillier, and with winds increasing tonight, northeast 10 to 15, gusting to 25, wind chills will be in the 30s. Tomorrow, we're going to see the temperatures only in the low to mid-50s. After that, that warming trend everybody is looking forward to. So temperatures getting back up mid-70s Saturday, low to mid-70s Sunday, Monday 80, and I think Tuesday and Wednesday we're looking at temperatures likely at least low to mid-80s, some inland areas a bit warmer than that. So we could call it hot by early next week.
Okay,
What do you think? You like that?
I love that, and would like to sincerely apologize for jumping the gun on Tuesday. Wednesday, that coldest day of the week.
Yeah.
And then we work our way back up. Look, if you're giving me this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I will take any sort of chilly Wednesday that you have to throw at us, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, we can deal with this. It's not terrible. Again, great weather for outdoor activities. And then as we look ahead to next week, it gets really warm. So.
And everybody just got a taste of, I know, something that Craig wants to dig into here. Should we start going through some of these Artemis II pictures? Do you have anything else on the forecast?
I mean, the forecast is pretty straightforward. And you know what? Not just here in Hampton Roads, but nationally. Right now, there's no severe weather threat identified by the Storm Prediction Center coast to coast. The one area that has a little bit of weather concern down in Florida, they're having some pretty heavy rain, and there is like a level 2 threat of excessive rainfall. So some flash flood warnings. Okay. Miami along the ocean side, Gulf side earlier, Sarasota and Tampa had some heavy rain. But as far as severe or damaging storms, that's not in the forecast today. Tomorrow looks pretty good as well.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
So you guys want to peek at the moon? Do we have time to do that, Sarah?
Let's see it. Well, we may never look at the moon the same again after getting to witness this history that happened yesterday.
I love this. I love this so much. All right. So they did the flyby, and I was glued to the stream the entire day. I mean, from the early afternoon all the way around. This was something. They did that communication blackout. They said, it was an anticipated communication loss.
Right.
So there was no surprises with it, but it was still really wild as, the commander gave, his thoughts and talking about, sending love back to Earth, and we'll talk to you on the other side.
Yeah.
And then, Houston copied that. Yeah, we'll talk to you on the other side. I mean, It was just like, wow, they knew it was coming. So for that 40 minutes, that crew was completely cut off from Earth. Then they come back around. We start to pick up the signal. We got good news. Signal's back. Some other really cool stuff. We saw the Earth set. Not a sunset, not a moon set. The Earth set.
An Earth set.
There was the solar eclipse. And I don't know, have you been running on News One, Sarah? I don't know how this works in here, if you're actually able to pull any of that up. But
it's not live.
Oh, it's okay. So I just didn't know if you were running recordings on that. Some of the images they're already starting to put out. NASA, freely puts this stuff out. They've been taking images. They have, multiple cameras on the ship itself.
Oh yeah.
But then they have also multiple cameras that the astronauts are using, including a Nikon D5, and they just had, really nice lenses on them.
Right. And
they had them pressed up against the hatches, and they're just popping off reels, or not reels, but SD cards full, and then they take the SD cards out, they'd switch it around.
Even that part is just amazing, where we're doing this thing that is the most technologically advanced thing humanity's maybe ever done, but it all comes back to a human being just clicking a button, taking pictures.
And I was thinking, how valuable are those SD cards?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you think about it, you've got those pictures, and they're taking them, and with this whole mission, I was thinking, gosh, they're so close. Why don't they just touch down? Watch. It's so complicated.
Pull an audible.
The lunar lander, it wasn't ready to go. It will be eventually. We've got great minds working to work all that stuff out.
Yeah.
This mission was about sending humans around the moon, showing that this spacecraft can handle it, observing, getting some looks at it, and then bringing everybody home safely. So far, so good.
Prepping for that touchdown to come. You're thinking of it as Craig and the kids are headed home from an event. Why don't we grab some ice cream? Not quite. You need a little more preparation to land on the moon.
You need to have a better landing craft than just hey, let's take our chances. Let's put this down here on 3. We jump and try to get this thing off the lunar surface. No, it's very, very tricky. But again, there are companies working and brilliant minds working to get that established. We're in this kind of second space race, if you will. And to see us be able to do this and to bring them home safely. And again, the mission still has, I think, about 40% of it left. There's still a ways to go, but they're doing it. And it's so exciting.
I do have a story from ABC that we can run that kind of you can hear some of the messages that they were playing.
Was this the one from Sophie Flay?
Yes.
Yeah, let's run that. That's awesome.
The Artemis II crew is heading back towards Earth after their historic trip around the far side of the moon, going deeper into space than anyone ever before.
Integrity crew, On April 15, 1970, during the Apollo 13 mission, 3 explorers set the record for the farthest distance humans have ever traveled from our home planet. Today, for all humanity, you're pushing beyond that frontier.
For several hours, the crew took turns observing features on the moon never seen by human eyes, capturing high-resolution images while narrating what they were seeing.
The view of the South Pole is quite amazing.
Mission Commander Reed Weissman's excitement while approaching the moon prompted NASA to give this reply.
Kathy Moonjoy.
Now, those words, Moonjoy, have become a catchphrase of the mission, with t-shirts already being sold online. The astronauts also got to view this incredible total solar eclipse when the Orion spacecraft, moon, and sun all aligned. But the day was also marked by somber moments. The team embracing after they suggested naming a crater on the moon for Weissman's wife, Carol, who died of cancer.
It's a bright spot on the moon, and we would like to call it Carol.
Mission specialist Christina Cook noted the moon looked very different up close, observing shades of brown and blue instead of the familiar gray. The 4 astronauts lost contact with mission control during an expected communications blackout, while the moon blocked their signal. They came back online after about 45 minutes. Overnight, President Trump called in to congratulate the crew.
You've really inspired the entire world. Really, everybody's watching.
Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
All right, Craig, what stands out to you there?
So cool. First of all, as I'm watching that, it's the human experience, and I was going back thinking about watching the transmission live and the interaction between mission control and the science experts. They had folks that were moon mapping experts here, a whole nother education room set up, like a suite. And they had all these people that were helping navigate and describing the different fixtures so that they knew what they were shooting and all the training that goes into it. And then it's such an emotional thing for the astronauts as well. I mean, these people are so well trained and they're so smart, and then you hear the emotion in the commander's voice referencing Carol, his wife who he lost, and the crater named for her. And they were saying some of the surfaces were a lot more jagged than what they were anticipating. I think when we get all these pictures back, people are going to just go over them and mull over them, and it's really going to be fascinating what they're able to go. Now, again, we've been down there. I was surprised to find out, because I've been doing a lot of kind of deep dives into the lunar exploration. Apparently, I guess the total of all the time on the moon that man has been actually on the moon, a total of 300 hours.
300 hours.
All of the Apollo missions. To get back there, there's still so much more that we need to do. And the fact that we're going to be going back and there are planned actual landing missions within the next couple of years. I know other international agencies are going to be going up as well. There's going to be a lot in our lifetime, and that is incredible.
And potentially a settlement on the moon where
That's
people
the plan.
spend lots of weeks, days, months, presumably something that would have been hard to really picture a few years ago when space exploration had kind of taken a back seat in terms of the public consciousness.
Well,
and now is really out in the forefront.
It's interesting. Again, and you can hear a lot of discussion on why we went the way we did. I mean, there were so many independent companies that were working to support in the first space race, and everybody was developing these systems, and it was an incredible effort. And once we got there, we're like, okay, we're the first ones. We're there, right? There wasn't a lot of incentive to get back to it.
Cold War ends.
Yeah, Cold War ends.
Yeah.
Things kind of, got into the international, obviously the shuttling crew. And, we went through that. And then the ISS, the support of that, studying the galaxy from, the telescopes that are up there now. It's been pretty amazing. But now with this eventual push to Mars, we got to learn how to do it on the moon first. Then we'll figure out how to get to Mars. And it's incredible.
And the thing that I really loved, and I remarked on this yesterday in our afternoon stream, is this is the grandest, most expansive exploration of the biggest ideas that you could possibly have for humanity here, really, right? The mysteries of the universe. What lies beyond the Earth that we know? It doesn't get any bigger than that. And yet, the thing that so many will take away from this event yesterday is that little human interaction of those astronauts consoling, their friend really, who had lost his wife. And just that sort of comparison I thought was really special and kind of speaks to just the summarization of the experience we're having here.
During the Apollo mission, where the astronaut captured that famous Earthrise, where the Earth was on the horizon beyond the moon, and it really gave people at that time, again, the Cold War was raging and everything else. This is the only planet we have.
Right.
And it kind of brought together more unity.
Yeah.
You realize that we are all on this thing and we have to figure it out. So
we speak about international conflict. This trip, again, comes at a critical time.
Absolutely.
When it comes to sort of our geopolitical situation. It's interesting how, once again, for the first time in 50 years, we're headed towards the moon, and we are in the midst of another conflict that could, has brought a lot of violence to us here. What do you think of shades of brown and blue?
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Again, this particular mission has really sparked my interest. I tend to go through phases where I take the moon a little bit for granted. But again, even really studying like the moon's orbit around the Earth, why it shifts, you're sitting there thinking, well, wait a second, if they were, on the moon, why are we so much farther now, out? They, beat the old record for the farthest from Earth. It's all about the moon doesn't just orbit the Earth. It orbits the Earth in kind of a helix thing. It kind of does this while orbiting, like the entire disk wobbles. It's just fascinating. And just the more you study it, for any kids that have an interest, man, what a great time to get into it and to really study.
Do you have a favorite planet?
Do I have a favorite planet? Earth.
Well, besides Earth.
Oh.
Earth, yeah, I think Earth we can count
Gotta
as
go
all
with
of our
Earth.
favorite
Hey,
planets.
I just found out that the lightning strikes on Jupiter are now expected to be like 100 times more powerful than the lightning strikes on Earth.
Okay.
It's a big gassy planet.
Jupiter's just one big storm, right?
Yeah, it's just honestly, it's like Jupiter just like mind blowing. But I could deal with Mars. Mars seems almost habitable. Inhabitable. So
Okay.
there you go.
All right. Craig Moeller, potentially habitating Mars at some point in the future. He'll have to do his forecast via Zoom if that ever happens. Yeah, hopefully the technology has caught up. Anything else we need to know from you, sir, about either space or Earth?
I think we're still going to be looking for more awesome images from NASA. And something else that I found out about listening to the live stream, National Geographic also had a tie-in with that, and a ton of the pictures they take are going to wind up in National Geographic. So it's going to be super cool. I think some of the corporate sponsorships and partnerships, it's going to be really fun to see how this stuff comes out and we get more pictures.
Intergalactic Geographic.
There you go.
There
you go. And that's why we pay Sarah the big bucks.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
No, great stuff there. And guys, again, 3 days of cool weather here in Hampton Roads, and then another big warm-up.
And that's why we pay you the big bucks, Craig Moeller. Thank you for joining us this morning on Live Impact News. As for us going forward here, we're going to take a brief commercial break. We've got a couple of live events that we're anticipating, and we've got some major headlines of the day to go over. So a brief break, and then we carry on with Live Impact News this morning, Tuesday, April 7th.